And now to our first conversation. Well, the federal government of Nigeria this week approved the national blockchain policy. This was revealed by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, during the Federal Executive Council meeting held in the State House in Abuja. But what can blockchain do for Nigeria? Joining me now is Chief Olutoyin Olonteru, founder and chairman, Crypto Economy Institute Africa. Joining me right here in the studio. Great to have you. Good morning.
No, good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning.
Yeah. So, what was your initial reaction, to this launch of the Nigeria blockchain policy?
And it is, very lovely and welcome. Especially, it's helped to demonstrate the strength of Nigeria in showing some qualities that a lot of Nigerians cannot see because it is not physical. It's not like building bridges, airports that you can easily see. It is one of the addition to what the federal government have been doing, especially in the areas of policy design, policy conceptualizations, preparation, and actually approval. You will recall that the federal government have done a similar things in the past with the bringing into reality the Nigeria Transportation Regulation in 2019. And many other similar stuffs, which Nigerians, especially the media, help to set public agenda so that Nigeria can understand things that can happen. And this thing creates more jobs than what we normally expect in the traditional setting. So doing this, it has been in the pipeline for quite some time. It's not as if the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, federal government just bring it to reality now. A lot of work consultations have been done, and I personally participated in the initial coming up of this strategy because we're at the forefront. We know the blockchain technology, use case and application is the future of the world, so of which Nigeria cannot isolate itself. It does not really matter. And what is more important now is that no human being can even escape it because every human being that is born in the world today must be technology savvy.
And talking about, being technology savvy, I'm sure, some of our audience might not understand, what exactly, blockchain technology is. Can you just break it down for us in layman terms?
Okay, and the first, thank you very much. I like this question, but it's going to take us a bit more in terms of awareness, training, and capacity building before people can actually understand what all these stuffs are. The purpose of this kind of communication today is starting the process so that when I'm able to explain it to you, explain it to Nigerians, some of those other Nigerians will be able to explain it to other Nigerians until it's trickled down. But because we have asked this question, first I would like to address let me say, enlightened, or let me say relatively enlightened Nigerians, because that is where the real problem is. Because when these Nigerians that think that they know don't actually know, they become intellectual technicians. And the problem with intellectual technicians is that they are very dangerous for society. Because a lot of people rely on them. Because they don't know, then they will explain to people who rely on them and give them wrong information. That's why you see fake news and all this kind of something begin to come up because there's no referenceable site or referenceable authority where they can get it from. Because you have asked this question, for me to even explain what blockchain is, I would like to start from the fundamentals. When you talk about computing, that is how we put information in the information systems environment. Today, there are two ways, but it does not mean that those two ways are the only two ways. So, we have what we call the centralized information system environment, CISE. That is an environment where the nodes, our computers, talk to a server. And that's why you have a server administrator, the kind of job function you have. An administrator will be there who will approve you when you use your password to sign in. The administrator will have program all those things, to ensure that your password and you're able to sign onto the network, you're able to connect. But the problem with that kind of system is that the administrator becomes the superpower. Because even if Mr. President approves something, the administrator can change it. We saw the practical things of what we experienced in the election in Adamawa, where what the REC is saying is different from what the returning officer is supposed to say or what the INEC have to say. Imagine if the REC is the administrator and it's hidden because it was public Then there is disagreement. What if it's hidden? The administrator is somewhere you don't know. Then that becomes the reality of the things. So whether it's granting student result or it's approving financial information or asset or all those things. That is centralized information system environment, or that we can also refer to as the traditional information systems environment that we are today. Now, this status quo is being challenged for vagaries of reasons. One of the reasons is that during the time of our forefathers, they keep their money, whether in paper form or in any other form, inside their cocoa farm. And they have the way of protecting inside that cocoa farm. Because if they don't authorize you to go into their cocoa farm and you go there, you can go to inside the cocoa farm, go to the hot carry contact, and begin to clear the whole ground. Now government come and say people to be putting their money in the bank. Without your consent, without your authorization, bank begin to remove money from your money at their dictate. Card management, account management, they did not agree the fee with you, they did not agree all kinds of something with you. Because the bank is the administrator. That is corruption. Because the bank begin to deduct your money, so the money you put there 1,000 naira, before you know it, your money didn't begin to be 8,800 and something. Your money is just reducing because the banks are doing what they like.
Okay,
so some group of people now challenge. Some people now challenge that look, we don't want this. So we now want a decentralized information systems environment. That's why I'm trying to explain the foundation. The issue with centralized, so that because you say in a layman's language, so that layman can connect with what we are saying. So now the challenge now brought about, we don't want a central authority on our transactions, but trust will be established, because this is why we want the banks, we want the administrator, all those things, because we want somebody that we can trust, that this person is reliable. But now we're now saying that no, let us form another systems, in which case we don't need to trust anybody who can do transactions successfully.
So it's a trustless system.
Yeah, that is what, yes. It's trustworthy, but it does not rely on a central authority. So that is why it's decentralized information systems environment, where there is no server. All the nodes talk to themselves. That kind of system uses what we call distributed ledger technology. Because we have it, I have it. So when there's an information, the copy you have that everybody have. So for me to now say my copy is the correct one, everybody on the nodes must agree to it. What we call different kind of consensus algorithm. Those kind of consensus algorithm means that we can do it either through proof of work or proof of stake or any other kind of algorithm. So this idea emerged through what people that are trying to challenge the financial system that I mentioned earlier that brought about the emergence of Bitcoin.
They don't want a centralized system.
They don't want
one
a centralized system
to have the decision to change.
To do so. That's what now brought about Bitcoin, which is the first use case and application of blockchain technology. But what I'm trying to say is that blockchain technology is essentially decentralized information systems environment.
So it's quite interesting, because we know normally governments are normally centralized because they have the powers to make decisions. So how much of a game changer is this blockchain technology to our system, a way of doing government?
Very serious. Government did that at that time because government have no other option. It was the centralized information system that was available at that time. So government have to deal with that. And don't forget there was a time that there was no internet. Government was not using internet. When there is internet, government begin to use internet. I can go to CAC now and do online registration of my companies. I can go to something and do a lot of things. Pay my federal revenue. Without the internet, could government have done that? So you can see that now government itself is now being proactive to know that the blockchain technology environment is a game changer, and hence the approval of this policy. The corruption we are talking about in Nigeria, those corruptions are system driven. So the tackling of the corruptions in Nigeria also have to be system driven. Because you ask this kid that how is government going to make use of all these things? Government know what it's doing. Because one, for example, how can you go ahead and you're having different WAEC results? The administrator in WAEC itself or some people collaborated to make this thing happen.
So how does blockchain change that?
It will change it now, because once your result is released and approved by the approving authority of any institution, it will be stored in a memory location. Let's say, let me give you a typical example. Graduation list of University of Lagos, 1990. It has a database, the whole graduation list. Now, in 1991, there's another graduation. You also have graduation list. The way in the blockchain environment, the way it will work is that there is first of all a block which will be hashed, and another block which will be appended to that, where you say blockchain. So, in 1992, 1993, 1994, 1995, 1996. So, if you now say you graduated in 1990, you must alter all the blocks, because all the lists of 1990 plus 1991 plus 1992 plus 1993, which if you change it, maybe University of Lagos have sent the graduation list to Federal Ministry of Education, has sent it to foreign universities that are admitting a student. All the guardians have it. All these people I'm talking about, they are nodes. So for me to alter any of those blocks, I must alter the one in everybody's hand.
And
which is difficult. Which is difficult. Which is very, very difficult. So it means you will not be able to do it.
So you're telling me now with blockchain, if, take for instance, we use blockchain with government spending, take that for instance now, and the government records they spent this amount on, say, this project, and they see how much goes out to the contractors, having to do all of that. If we put all of that, is it possible to pull all of that information on the blockchain?
No, of course. Once the blockchain system has been designed, it is automatic. You are even talking about this monodose. It even starts from approval. The initiator, somebody initiated, send a memo to the director. The director look at it. If a block is hashed and added to the next person, to the next person. So if Mr. Governor or the president now approved it, I can trace all the people. There are a lot of technologies that are involved. That's why I'm saying that, it is a process. Because you need to know about hash function, how to hash. You need to know about data and information security and cryptographic mechanisms in terms of integrity of data, confidentiality of data, availability of data, authentication in terms of both entity authentication and data origin authentication. That's why I'm saying I have to speak fair to some group of people who will now go and break it down. And I can also try to do that. Because if Mr. President sends something to the Senate President, like the way we have today, you find that sometimes we begin to say that, is that the version, is that not the version? Because even though it is in an electronic system, the cryptography is poor. But blockchain technology is absolutely cryptographic. There's a difference between when I sign my signature, they scan it, and you put it on another document, as compared to when I use digital signature. There's a difference between electronic signature and digital signature. Digital signature is a specific and specialized type of electronic signature that makes use of cryptographic technology. It makes use of that. And what I'm trying to explain to that is that once that is put in place appropriately, then any kind of fraud or those kind of things in the system, encryption must have taken place, public key infrastructure must have been used, public key cryptography, digital signature must have been used, hash functions. Each of these has what they do. For example, I can alter the integrity of a data without knowing what I'm entering. A hacker can go here now, plug into WAEC, begin to change student result without even knowing what I'm changing. 81, I change to 18. When they grade it F9, somebody that's supposed to have. But if it is a blockchain environment, it cannot happen.
So basically, blockchain is unhackable.
It's difficult to hack. In mathematics, we don't talk about the possibility. Why? Because, when I was explaining earlier, I wanted us to focus on what we wanted to talk about. But I said we have two ways of representing information right now, which is centralized and decentralized. But both centralized and decentralized are based on America's standard code for information interchange that we call ASCII code, which is binary digits, zeros and ones. And that's why you talk about digital computer, all those things. But that is not the only way we can represent information. Information can be represented in state of electrons. And that is what the whole field of quantum computing is talking about. So in future, that's why we have blockchain technology before. Government is going to come up with a quantum computing policy. Because with quantum computing, I can crack and deal with the current technology that we even get to be proud of today. So in that state, in mathematics, we don't talk about impossibility, we talk about difficulty. So once you make it difficult, for example, now if I know that you can hack this thing within 2 years, and I will change it within 1 week or in the next 1 day. So it's none of my business whether you are able to change it.
Okay. So very quickly now, just break it down for me. How can businesses, use this technology?
It is very important that businesses are going to use it, and how they are using it is already there. Because when you are not talking about the blockchain technology, you have both public blockchain and you have private blockchain. So private blockchain is essentially for business organizations. And they can use public blockchain in addition. That means they can use it in dual mode. So we have different protocols for that, which when an organization wants to embark on private blockchain technology adoption, then the design and the implementation, the operation and support can be worked out separately. So in that case, it means that not everybody needs to be a node. Only people that are relevant for purpose will be on node. For example, now maybe a bank, or if you are not my customer, or you are not, let me borrow from our data protection regulations, or data protection and privacy regulations, what we call data subjects. So maybe all your data subjects are people of interest to you. So you can do a private blockchain within that space, as compared to public blockchain, where anybody can join in and leave. But in the case of private blockchain, only people that are relevant for purpose, maybe your subscribers, if it is voting you want to do, of what purpose will be somebody who is not your subscriber or your customer, be influencing information, maybe you just want to do a survey. Somebody who is not patronizing, you just go there and begin to influence the result. So in that case, private businesses will make use of that. But they will make use of public blockchain in addition, because if, for example, they want to do with cryptocurrency, they may want to accept, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any of the cryptocurrency that we have, maybe an airline.
So there's also a currency aspect.
Yeah, that is the foundation. Right. That is not the foundation, but the first application. Even though it is more complex than that, but currency is tied down to everything. Take, for example, blockchain technologies will allow farmers to price their farm products separately. So if I'm a farmer dealing with yam, let's say yellow yam, let's say Discoria cayenesis, that is what yellow yam, the botanical name. Then we have Discoria tata. So there are different kinds of pandaria you can have from different kinds of yams. So Benue State produces yam, Ondo State produces yam. But I can price it differently. I can tell you that this yam from Ondo State, from my village in Ondo State, is 500 naira. Whereas the one from Benue State can say it's 200 naira. I can tell this one is a natural something. If you eat this yam, you are going to live up to 100 years old. You are going, all this is going to happen, all those things. And I can attach the coordinates, the geospatial information and identities of that yam from the farm it comes from the land it comes from, to that and the price in which you can check. In which case, if you say that, when you begin to know, you cannot make your decision to say that where you are going to buy the yam from one of those states and not from Benue State. So that is just in the areas of farmers. So now I'm not going to tell you the applications. The same way in terms of military, national security and defense. Today we say that sometimes they say that the Air Force mistakenly bomb civilian area, all those things. It's a part of the issues, because when you have the geospatial information, it can be altered. So an enemy, if it can alter into the military software, it can change the coordinates to a military barrack and say the army, they can bomb their own barrack and all those things. But if we're to be in a blockchain environment, that information cannot be tampered with. So So that is
All right.
national security and defense application.
So I guess it cuts across.
It cuts across border. That is why
right,
we call it emerging and disruptive technology.
Exactly. I guess so much to unpack there, but thank you so much for breaking it down for us, Chief Olutoyo, founder, chairman, and Crypto Economy Institute Africa. It was great having you today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.